Does the coronavirus cause brain abnormalities? How did the pandemic change the way we think? Will we see a spike in cases when temperatures get colder? Is the pandemic preparing us for the severe effects of global warming? The last few months have been rough for everyone in the world. We're all going through the same global challenge, but perceiving it through a different lens. One thing for sure, it's an experience that could alter things forever. First things first, we know that loneliness has a destructive impact on the human brain. We, humans, are often called social animals. If we try to go back in history, we notice that our ancestors had to count on each other in order to survive. So, connection is critical for survival, and this is intrinsic to our human nature. We must think of loneliness as an alarm. This is a way for the brain to tell us that there is something wrong. So, usually, we must listen to such signals and engage in social interactions. However, the global pandemic made this impossible for us, at least in the first few months. But while social isolation was a must, feeling alone was not. We can still feel connected in all sorts of ways. That is what artists were trying to do by using art as a vehicle for social change across lines of differences. So our advice for you is to reach out and get involved. Additionally, did you actually know that COVID-19 has had startling effects on the human brain? Yes, you heard it right. More than 300 studies from all around the world have found a prevalence of neurological abnormalities in COVID-19 patients, including mild symptoms like headaches, loss of smell, and tingling sensations, up to more severe outcomes such as the inability to speak, strokes, and seizures. So there is a lot to fear, much more than the short-term effects. Moreover, this pandemic is changing our behavior. No matter how nonchalant we may be, we're definitely saddled with moral responsibilities. Responsibilities to the people with a heightened risk of catching COVID-19, like our parents or grandparents. Furthermore, we're having a hard time trusting people, especially our leaders. That's why it's critical for our leaders to be transparent and show a high degree of empathy. This pandemic was also a way for us to assess how qualified our leaders are and how they respond to humanitarian crisis. On another note, the global economy is shrinking. Global stock markets have suffered dramatic falls due to the outbreak, and the Dow Jones reported its largest ever single-day fall of almost 3,000 points on March 16, 2020, beating its previous record of 2,300 points that was set only 4 days earlier. Even the unemployment rate increased in most countries. The IMF says that the global economy will shrink by 3% this year. A team at the University of Wyoming did a quick calculation that social distancing measures may be saving the US around $5 trillion in value. It described the decline as the worst since the Great Depression of the 1930s. However, it's important to note that this doesn't mean that there's a causal relationship. A lot of countries have managed to contain the virus, but is facing a financial crisis. Plus, the pandemic could trigger many mental health problems. To begin with, we are not good at dealing with uncertainty, which could possibly exacerbate anxiety. Psychologists even have a term for pandemic-induced anxiety called syndrome de la cabana. Even if people are able to go out now, they are scared to do so. For people suffering from schizophrenia or have psychotic symptoms, it's important to let them know why we're wearing masks or why we are social distancing, and really explain to them how our reality is being shaped at that specific moment. For children, it's also really critical to sit down with them and explain to them the whole situation. Otherwise, their opinion and general knowledge would be formed based on the news they hear or see on the television. The media isn't really partial, so parents must ensure that their children are aware of what's happening in the world and how to deal with the situation. As to what's to come in the future, experts predict that areas seeing colder temperature during the second half of this year.
The Boltons are defeated. The war is over. Winter has come. If the maesters are right, it'll be the coldest one in 1,000 years. We should ride home and wait out the coming storms.
We're also seeing increases in the rates of new coronavirus cases because colder temperatures drive people indoors, where the rate of transmission is higher than on the outdoors. We will be ending this on a philosophical note. German philosopher Marcus Gabriel believes that at the end of this pandemic, we will become a more moral society, which could prepare us for the climate crisis. Please let us know, how are you dealing with this pandemic? If you ever need emotional support, you can definitely reach out out to us on our Instagram page and we will get back to you. Please let us know what are your predictions for the next few months, and most importantly, stay safe and wear your masks. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, leave a comment, and turn on the notifications for future content.